Am I even in focus? I'm in focus now. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not doing a garment construction video. We are actually doing what I want to think of as the first of a series of videos called WIFs. It's like a play on WIPs, like work in progress, but actually what I think it stands for in my brain is what I finished. So this is my what I finished for the month of April. To back up a little bit, I really want to say thank you guys so much for supporting me in this, and comments, those really make my day. We're on video number 3 for my channel, which is actually really exciting, and everything's an experiment right now. Okay, well anyway, to get started, we are going to move right into the first garment that I made a video for, my shirred dress that I made out of the Adrienne blouse. Okay, do you guys remember this one? I don't know what else I can say about this that I did not already say in like my 18-minute long video wherein I talk about every single detail of this dress. So this one might be really short. It looks exactly as it did when we left it. I didn't rip any holes in it yet or anything, so this is all good news. Really, there's not much else I can say about this, except for maybe we can take a look at the inside. I guess I was hoping to be able to wear this dress this summer, but I really have a feeling that there will be no events to wear the dress to, so we'll see if I can even work it into Me Made May in some way that makes it a little bit more wearable at home. Okay, next up we have the garment that I was actually wearing in the intro for this video, and that is the York Pinafore hack. I recently started writing articles for Helen, which Helen of Helen's Closet. We're on a first name basis, you know, so that's why I just call her Helen. I recently started writing articles for her a couple months ago, and it's been really fun. Most of them have been like tutorials or scrap busters, but this one was a really exciting one for me because Helen asked me to hack one of her patterns. She basically said she wanted like some sort of button hack with her York Pinafore, and she has one already on her blog, and I didn't want to copy it directly because I felt like, well, what's the point of me writing an article about an article that's already been written, right? So I came up with this one. This is kind of like a nautical inspired. Oh, I have a hair. That's like the trash can on the ground. So I came up with this nautical inspired version of the York Pinafore. The base design of this is that the front pattern piece is actually just split into 2 different pattern pieces, and then I have buttons placed all the way down the front. I am going to make a direct link to the article where I explain the process of hacking the pattern piece into 2 and explaining the button band situation here. One thing that got me really excited about this hack is that any day that I actually get to bring out a hammer while I'm sewing is a good day, and so for this dress I actually got to hammer 10 denim buttons on and not just 1 like in normal pants. The inside of this dress also makes me really happy. I used a leftover bias tape from a Kilo dress that I made years ago. The tape is actually cut out of a silk cotton blend that I picked up at Josephine's Dry Goods, which is another local shop in Portland. The inside though is not very neat, and the reason for this is that I actually was sewing the bias tape shut from the outside because I was prioritizing the cleanliness of the outside top stitching over making sure that the inside looked neat and tidy. But also there are still no raw edges on the inside, which is my main concern in these kinds of projects. The main fabric for this pinafore was sourced in Munich from that one department store that's like right outside the main train station. I think it's called like Karlstadt. I think this is so funny that I have a mic with my phone sticking on it. I also can see myself here. That's also a weird thing that I'm... Okay. So this is my 3rd garment that I completed in the month of April. Show of hands, how many of you have watched the show on Netflix called Next in Fashion. Right, probably like all of you. This dress was very heavily inspired by what Minju wore in basically every single ITM that she did. As soon as I saw her in these interviews, I was like, that dress, I have the perfect fabric for it, and I am definitely going to be copying it and making my own. She had this like sheer flowy chiffon overdress that she wore over a shirt. So I'm basically just copying Minju now, and I feel like I should have like pulled my hair back like she does. I had the Ashton top by Helen in mind when I was designing it in my head. So when Helen asked me to do hacks of her pattern, it was like only natural that I would use this pattern for this hack. So I sourced this fabric from fashionfabricsclub.com, and I had it hoarded in my stash for like 2 or 3 years now. The bias tape is a silk crepe de chine. It was purchased at Mill End in Portland for like $6 and turned into bias tape. And I have to say, like, anytime you come across a silk remnant for less than $10, whether it's, you know, 3/4 of a yard or a yard or so, I recommend just snatching it up. I mean, it's like really luxurious to have silk lined pockets. Or you can make a simple top out of it, or you can have pockets and a lifetime supply of chartreuse colored silk bias tape. I don't know, it's up to you. I will link this blog post below so that if you are into this million yards of ruffle in this dress, just like, you know, then you too can have one of these in your closet. So this one is like fresh off the sewing machine and fresh into the video YouTube world. I don't think that I really have to go into depth about this. You've seen it before, you've seen the inside. I will still show you the inside just for prosperity's sake. This is still a very floppy collar. I have not fixed this. I probably will not fix it. And this part is still, oh, you guys, I'm wearing like, what are these called? Sports bras? Do I have to change? Do I have to change? Anyway, the hole here is still a hole, and I will fix it someday, and it is unlikely for it to keep tearing unless I do some more jumping jacks. So how fair do you guys think it is that I basically just put the sweater on top of what I was wearing a moment ago? It's very fair? Okay, great. I don't need a whole new outfit for this. Perfect. This sweater I actually made in March, but I technically finished it 3 minutes ago by sewing down the collar and sewing up the armpits. So I'm throwing it into my April what I finished into my April whiffs because I technically finished it this month. It still needs to be blocked, so it's a little bit of a funky shape, but once it's blocked, it'll fit totally just fine. The pattern that I used for this sweater is the Copenhagen Sweater by June Thompson. Oh, the other thing that I really wanted to say about this sweater, which is pretty important, is I made a somewhat big flaw in it, in that the mistake is like way down at the armpit. And in order to fix it, I would have to go all the way back down from the collar all the way to the armpit. I don't have that kind of time, and I don't have that kind of patience. And also, I think it's just the mark of it being handmade. And I think this is something that we all need to kind of think about when we're making our own clothing by hand, is that it's not something to be embarrassed about. It's something to be proud of. And if I were to wear this in public, which I very much plan on doing, I hope that a fellow knitter will see my mistake and recognize that I am somebody who knits too, and I'm proud of the work that I've done. And I hope that if you feel a little bit weird about the clothing that you've made, you're not sure if you feel really comfortable in it, you feel embarrassed by it, you feel like it's not good enough, I want you to know that mistakes are okay. And it's okay to be proud of the work that you've done and that you are learning, and it's a beautiful thing. Please go out there and wear your clothing that you've made. because that's just gonna get you hooked on making more clothes. I'm getting really warm in this and maybe worked up about like my emotional be proud of yourselves moment, but I really do mean that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I talk about the clothes that I've made this month. If you have any questions at all on the clothes or on the process or on the fabric or the yarn or whatever it is, just hit me up, leave a note down below. I love to hear from you guys, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Give it a thumbs up, and I can't wait to see you guys again soon. Have a great weekend or day. I also forgot to mention that this sweater is knit in a merino wool and silk mohair blend, two of them held together. Were those sentences coherent enough for you? Let's try that again.